This is B-Man from B-Man Sports Talk here with Trevor from previous videos, as you've probably seen unless you're new. And today we're doing the top 5 NFL teams going into this season. At number 5, I got the Jags. What do you got, bro?
I have the Chargers.
What do you got the Chargers there for?
There's a lot of hype around the Chargers, especially since they drafted Derwin James, and he's a pretty good sticky. And I felt like at the end of this season, the Chargers just kind of started to click a little bit, and Keenan Allen is back, and Melvin Gordon is starting to run really good, and Phillip Rivers has basically like a pretty mediocre, decent receiving core that gets it done, and that defense is getting really good with Melvin Ingram surrounded Joey Bosa, and I just have them probably third or fourth in the AFC this season.
Alright, I picked the Jaguars just because of how their defense played last year, and I feel like Blake Bortles is going to have his year this year. He's been off and on, but he's due for a good season. He was bad the past couple. He was actually not even like a terrible quarterback. He was decent, but I think he's going to have a season like he did a bit ago. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think he's going to be having his comeback season this year, and I think the Jags are going to be a really good team and a threat on the ground and through the air and on their defense.
Yeah.
Alright, we got number 4. I got the Texans at number 4.
So do I.
If they stay healthy.
So do I, yeah.
If they don't stay healthy, they can drop all the way down to even 20.
So, the reason I have the Texans here is what you've seen from the Texans last year on defense wasn't really too good when we had injuries. And through offense, Deshaun Watson played about 4 full games or so. No, actually, he played 7 games. He was leading the whole NFL with touchdowns whenever it was like week 12 and 13, and he only had played 7 games. So that, and we're getting Donta Foreman back. We're also adding the Honey Badger. It's a bad loss that we don't have Andre Howe due to his cancer, but we also brought Justin Reed to the draft, and Gifted Watt, Whitney Merciless is coming back, and Zach Cunningham, Bernard McKinney, Jadeveon Clowney, and Zach Cunningham is a linebacker core. And we also added Aaron Colvin, which in my opinion is a really underrated corner. He'll play the slot and everything. And our defense is just probably a top 3 defensive unit in the whole NFL when it's healthy. And hopefully Deshaun Watson can stay healthy. And with the addition of Kiki QT, hopefully he'll play good in the slot this year. And I think we have one of the best offensive units in the NFL as well as defense too. I have the Texans either the 2nd or 3rd seed in the AFC.
I have the Texans rated so low just because of our injuries. If Deshaun Watson gets hurt, they're the worst team in the league. We can have Shaq at quarterback, and we'll be better at our situation right now. I mean, Joe Webb is a good quarterback. I'm not going to lie. He's a great quarterback. He's really underrated. In Carolina, he killed it. He was really good in Carolina. So, at least we have a backup quarterback. But Bill O'Brien might be so stupid he don't even play him, and he plays Brandon Weeden, who is good as a kid with one arm. So, Shaquem Griffin can be throwing it with his stub, and he's as good as him. But our defense is going to be stacked this year. That's why I have them low, though, is because of our injuries. J.J. Watt's going to have a big bounce back year. I believe he might even be terrible this year. You never know. He looked like he was fatiguing last year in skill, but you don't want to stay asleep on JJ, you know? So
Yeah.
that's why I have him down at number 4.
Yeah.
I have them winning that division.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. At number 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
So do I.
They're gonna be a force this year, but the NFC is finally getting dangerous and more exciting to watch, opposed to the AFC. We have a lot of good teams there. We have a lot of good quarterbacks, but possible MVP winner is on the Eagles. They're saying Carson Wentz would have won it if he didn't get hurt. He's the only reason why they're really in the playoffs. Just Nick Foles hit what he started. They won the Super Bowl. That's why they're high up, and they have a very scary offense. Why do you have that there?
So I have the Eagles there because obviously they're defending Super Bowl champions. They didn't have a first-round pick, so they didn't really do too much on the draft. They did have a second-round pick, and they took a tight end, which I'm not really too high on that pick, only because they already have Zach. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. But they have a beastly receiving corps. They have Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, Torrey Smith, and they have Dak Ertz. They also have a good O-line with Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, and Jason Peters. They have a really good running game with Corey Clement, and they also have Jay Ajayi, which is the start, and obviously Carson Wentz. And even if Carson Wentz goes down, which it's a possibility because everybody coming off a tear, it's obviously really high that he can tear it again. But they also have Nick Foles, which is behind him, which Nick Foles did. He obviously, like you said, finished the season off pretty decently, but he's really good in the playoffs, so they're okay with that. And their defense is really good as well. They have a pretty good D-line. Fletcher Cox. They also added Michael Bennett, and their linebacking core is pretty good. They have Jordan Hicks. They have I can't really name the rest, but they have pretty good linebackers too. They also have Malcolm Jenkins on defense. They have Sidney Jones coming back from injury, which sidelined him for the whole season. But the Eagles did good last year, and their defense really did help them win that Super Bowl, and that's why I have them ranked number 3. I have them the second seed in the NFC. That's if Carson Wentz can stay healthy, and so with their defense.
A big reason why I don't have them at number 2 is because they don't have a middle linebacker anymore. They lost Michael Kendricks to the Browns, so yeah. All right, number 2. This was pretty obvious. The most stacked team in free agency, the LA Rams. They got a quarterback, Jared Goff. They have now a whole wide receiver core. It's nasty. They have Brandon Cooks now joining those players, bro. They have basically all old Bills players and Brandon Cooks. Robert Woods. They got Sammy Watkins. Do they still have Sammy Watkins?
No, he's on the Chiefs.
Well, they have Brandon Cooks anyways, and they have Robert Woods still.
And Cooper Kupp.
And Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was one of the most underrated players last year. I had him on my fantasy team.
Big impact as a rookie.
He killed it on my fantasy team. That's the only reason how I know who he is. And I saw him on the NFL thing before the draft. Their defensive line is the best in the NFL.
Definitely.
And I'm saying that over Jadeveon Clowney and JJ. Their defensive tackles are nasty. They have Aaron Donald, and they have Ndamukong Suh, who will probably get suspended within 5 minutes, but at least they have him for 5 minutes. They're just a force to be reckoned with, and they're the best in the NFC, in my opinion.
Who I have at number 2? So I have the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, top 3 quarterback in the NFL, one of the best in NFL history. He's surprisingly really mobile, and he can throw off the run. And if they're in a bad situation, he could lob up a Hail Mary and probably complete it to one of his wide receivers. But they did lose Jordy Nelson this season to the Oakland Raiders, which I also have the Oakland Raiders doing pretty good this season as well. But they have Demarius Randall? No, that's not his name.
Yeah, I think it is. Randall Cobb, too.
Yeah, Randall Cobb. And Randall Cobb's an underrated slot receiver, and I don't know who they have at running back, actually. But their running back is, pretty decent. I know they have two decent ones, and their defense, and they also have Jimmy Graham. They added him, which, Aaron Rodgers always likes to throw to his tight ends a lot. And their defense isn't that bad. They did lose another Demarius Randall, I think. He was a safety. He's on the Browns now. But they also have Deshaun Kaiser for backup quarterback if I forgot his name again. Brett Hundley. And their defense isn't that bad. They got Clay Matthews, they got HaHa Clinton Dix. I'm forgetting a lot of players right now, but that they're pretty good. I have them a wild card team in the NFC just because the NFC is really good. But Aaron Rodgers, when it comes to playoff time, is really good in the playoffs, and he could play good in the cold too. So that's why I have the Packers rated number 2 in the NFL.
I think Aaron Rodgers' career is over, dude. I don't think he'll be able to bounce back from that injury of a collarbone. You saw when he tried to come back last year, he did terrible.
He's broken 2 collarbones in the past 3 years, so that's always a bad thing. And he's getting old too, so he's probably not as mobile as he is. But
I think he's done.
If he gets injured, we don't know. Brett Hundley didn't do too good last year, but he didn't do too bad either. So we're just gonna have to see how Aaron Rodgers pans out. Hopefully they don't play him in the preseason because a lot of people get injured in the preseason, just like Julian Edelman.
Did the Packers make the playoffs last year?
No, they missed out by 1 game.
But barely, right? Brett Hundley ain't too completely horrible for a quarterback that's never seen the field.
Yeah.
And now he has that experience that he will probably be playing the second half of the season after they see how badly fatigued Aaron Rodgers will look. Because there's no way he's going to be good next year. I've seen it with my own eyes. What he did last year just ruined. His career's done.
We'll have to see what happens. Who do you have at number 1?
Oh, I have the Cleveland Browns. Talking about. Nah, I'm kidding. I have the best team in the league, New England Patriots.
I have the Los Angeles Rams, and mainly because the same reason you had them at number 2. Not because I have them rated highly over you. Because Jared Goff is developing really well under the young head coach, and they have Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods. Robert Woods did very well, especially against the Texans last year. And,
I remember that.
Yeah, I do too. And they have.
What was that like? Was that like a 92-yard touchdown?
Yeah, something like that. But they have Todd Gurley, obviously. They have Ndamukong Suh. They have Aaron Donald, Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, Mark Barron, Sam Shields, Michael Brockers. Their whole team is pretty good. Not to mention Johnny Hecker, their punter, which is actually a pretty good punter. Barrell Cooper, one of the best special teamers in the league. And Gerald Everett, which is a really good tight end coming off of a second year. But I think last year in the playoffs they didn't do too well because they're pretty young, so they have a lot of jitters in the playoffs because it's obviously their first year in the league, first year in the league. Never played in a playoff game. Like Jared Goff, you could definitely tell against the Falcons he was a little nervous, but I feel like this year they'll shake everything off and they'll be the number 1 team in the NFL. I didn't do predictions for the other teams, but I have them going 13-3.
Alright, I'm keeping it real with the Patriots. You've already seen what they've been in the past. You can't doubt them. I mean, I know Tom Brady loses to bad quarterbacks. That's the thing. Eli Manning twice and some dude nobody's ever heard of until this year. But come on, you cannot overlook Tom Brady, the best passing quarterback of all time. Hands down. Not the best. I'm not saying he's the best overall quarterback of all time, because he has no legs at all. But he's the best. He has the best arm, and he has the best vision on the field, and he has one huge dude that he can dump it off to if nobody's open, which Rob Gronkowski, hamster, running on a wheel for a brain. But you can't doubt their offense. The only problem I see with them is that they're losing their number one cornerback, which was really a problem for them. Like, Malcolm Butler was way too overrated on that team. They have Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore isn't bad. They're probably going to pick up a corner in free agency, and they have, Jason McCourty now?
Also, they're losing Julian Edelman from a suspension for 4 games.
Julian Edelman isn't anything. Julian Edelman isn't even good. So, all he needs is Gronk and a couple fast guys. And they're probably going to watch them get Dez and Julio.
Yeah, Dez is out there. I mean, anybody can pick him up.
And it's going to be the Patriots. They're the only one that isn't scared of a team, of a player that's already committed. Like, even they're the team that picks up Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
Because they don't care. If they see skill, they get the skill.
Yeah,
they're the only team not afraid of that.
They'll get talent despite what their actions is off the field. You know, Dez Bryant, he's a bit of a crybaby, but I'm telling you, if the Patriots pick up Dez Bryant, they'll probably have one of the best receiving corps in the league. And Tom Brady knows how to get their players some action, some yards. You know, so he always gets Rob Gronkowski them 100-yard games, 3 touchdown games. I'm pretty sure Dez Bryant will have 1,000 plus yards this season if he goes to the Patriots.
And Julio will. Unstoppable.
Yeah,
the team isn't losing a game if they get both of those players. Julio will be like how Randy Moss was. Julio won't be as good as Randy Moss, but it'll be a slight downgrade.
Yeah.
You can't deny Randy Moss is the second best wide receiver of all time, if not the best.
Yeah, I also think running back rookie from Georgia, Sony Michel. I think he'll have a good career. The Patriots lost Dion Lewis, and they didn't have LeGarrette Blount, but they had Dion Lewis and James White. James White is obviously still on the Patriots, but Dion Lewis left to go play for the Titans, which, in my opinion, is a pretty good dual threat with Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis. But the Patriots like to throw to their running backs a lot, just like the Texans do like to throw to Lamar Miller. But I feel like since they lost Dion Lewis, they had to go in the first round and pick a receiving running back, and that's what they did. They got Sony Michel. He's a skinny running back, but he does know how to catch. Played wide receiver in high school, and he converted to a running back in college. But you know, he's a pretty good receiver, and he's really fast. So he could switch from receiver to running back. He can play in the slot. He can play all around the field.
He's gonna get injured.
You never know. I mean, any guy like him, it's a possibility. You know, not everybody stays injured or stays healthy in the NFL, considering it's a really highly injured sport, and it's a contact sport. So, I mean, people tear their ACL all the time, break their tibia and everything, hernia, all that, break their arms, collarbone, like Aaron Rodgers, you know, everything. Tear stuff, break toes all the time. So, you know, it's a pretty unhealthy sport, but